every workout in between. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends February 27th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Is your furnace ready for winter? Call Bryant to perform a thorough check for comfort and peace of mind. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Whatever it takes.
Get ready, Lincoln. It's a huge weekend at the Icebox. The Lincoln Stars are back home Friday and Saturday taking on their conference rival Fargo Force in a critical push in the playoffs. Both nights, enjoy $8 vodka Red Bulls while you cheer on the Stars as they battle for postseason positioning. Saturday's game is being presented by Eagle Raceway, so expect even more high-octane excitement. The puck drops at 7 o'clock on Friday and 6 o'clock on Saturday. Don't miss your chance to be part of the push for the playoff energy. Secure your seats now at LincolnStars.com and be there when it matters most.
I'm Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite. So the Nebraska Lottery has asked me to talk about the Cash Blast promotion. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. If you're winning vouchers from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So when can I explode the dynamite?
No dynamite in the studio, Dr. Nobel.
Well, how about a cherry bomb?
No.
Sparkler?
Sorry.
2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, the light breeze, an afternoon high around 30. Tonight, a slight chance of snow. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies, a low around 14. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with light winds, an afternoon high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleckner for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Downtown Lincoln Foundation. Here is your host, Derek Pearson.
Yes, thanks for joining us here on One-on-One on 93.7 The Ticket. Of course, I am not Derek Pearson here. I'm Jake Bakoven in studio today with Austin Orman, and we've got a 2-hour show ahead of you. Of course, we've got plenty to talk about with Nebraska football taking the podium yesterday. So much going on, not just this weekend, but even right now in Husker softball getting things going. Husker baseball is, of course, going to be playing today in this weekend. Husker basketball, of course, women's last night unfortunately fell. Men's get going here in tomorrow against Penn State. So no shortage of topics in Husker land, and we'll get to all of them. Austin, how are you doing today?
Great. I also am not DP. It's been nice filling in the last couple days, across One-on-One, across the Adam Carricker Show. Real question is, how are you? Glad you're back.
Yeah, not too bad. I unfortunately lost my voice a little bit yesterday, and that's not good for radio, unfortunately.
So we've been told.
Yeah, it's tough to do a radio show when people can't hear you. So, but back here, close to better than ever. I think maybe a little frustrated with the snow. I'm more of, I can handle the snow when it's Christmas season and looking forward to Christmas. I tried to even get a little jingle in my head this morning to make me feel like if it was going to feel any better. It didn't work. It's like, you can't feel Christmassy right now.
Can we do a reverse shout out to Lincoln drivers? Like,
yeah,
I love y'all, City of Lincoln. You're my hometown. Like, there's always a special place in my heart for you. But we set a new record yesterday. And I say we very loosely. We as in the city of Lincoln, all 300,000 odd of us, 91 accidents reported yesterday. 91. Here's the thing. I thought we were better than that. I had higher standards for us than that. I know we give you a bunch of crap driving around. Everyone's aggressive. Who really knows what they're doing? But come on, were we really that unprepared for a little snow? Maybe I just got, the perfect route home where it wasn't that slick. Like, I'm not a perfect driver. I will never once admit to that. And, maybe it was slicker in other places. But 91 crashes, people? Are we okay? Did we forget how to drive in the snow? Did we take the nice weather for granted? I hope everyone's okay. I hope they weren't serious. I was a little disheartened, though. Seeing 91 crashes, I mean, that's a lot of insurance claims getting filed.
Oh, yeah.
And, Bach, I really thought that Lincoln drivers, for all the crap we give them, would have been able to avoid setting a record even yesterday.
Yeah, I guess setting records aren't always a good thing, right? That this is one of those cases where it's not. I didn't have to drive last night, of course, because I did sit out, but I did, I was turning on social media. That's all I saw was people like, my usual 10-minute route took 45 minutes and all this sort. And I'm like, what's going on out there?
Well, Byron says it was more, I know it's the ice. Like, yeah. I get that that's the issue, but come on, snow and ice go together very often. I get, Lincoln drivers, you have your moments of terribility. I didn't think it was that bad yesterday. Again, maybe I just got lucky. Maybe it was just that my routes ended up being perfectly clear. I didn't think they were, but again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back for not getting in a crash. More people didn't get in a crash than did. But 91 crashes, people?
That's a lot.
I thought we were better than that. I had faith in you at least a little bit.
I think you're right, though. I think it's just late in the season. We weren't ready for it. Weren't prepared. Thought we'd gotten over it. I'm not sure.
Whatever it is, I was disheartened. I really was.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a better day today. I can see even folks out there plowing as we go, looking out the window here on 11th and O Street. Be safe out there if you're driving. Always tune into the Ticket, of course, in your radio dial. And I think that helps with a little bit of safety too. I'm not sure how, but you don't have to question it. Just say it. Just take it for what it is. Snow bad. I think we could all agree with that. Hopefully the sun comes and melts it away pretty quickly here. Austin, what was your kind of biggest takeaway from the Husker football press conference the other day? I got to tell you, and I don't know if you felt this way, it just felt a little bit refreshing to me. I almost felt a new hope. I'm not quite predicting 9 wins this year, but it was kind of nice with all the offseason and maybe not necessarily the best conversations revolving Nebraska football just because of the way the season ended, all that Matt Rule really kind of pivoted and said, this is the start of this season. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with last season. College football, you have new rosters, all that. A little bit of a pivot too from, hey, we're not, this isn't retooling or anything like that. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, in college football, this is how it is. I felt a little bit optimistic coming out of out of that press conference.
For me, Bach, it wasn't necessarily optimism, but it was, oh, wait, I actually do kind of care about these guys. They're going to mess with my heart for 13 Saturdays, 13 games next year. And I was ready to let them not do that. But I did. I was actually interested in what they had to say, and I was kind of surprised by it. Maybe it's the fact that they hadn't spoken in a while, 6 weeks or so since the transfer portal signing day. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I was actually interested to hear them talk. And it wasn't, overly newsworthy. There are, plenty of things to talk about and take away. But there wasn't that one big headline. Can you believe that he said this? Can you believe he didn't mention that? This was about as run of the mill for a press conference as I think you can get. I think the injury report was a big deal. I mean, you hear a guy like Gunnar Gatula, who I think is a key piece on the offensive line in some role, missing all of spring, not ideal. Dawson Merritt challenging for a role. Rex Guthrie trying to establish himself. Those are guys that I was a little disappointed to see there on the injury list. But at the start of spring, Bach, I'm always going to take what the coaches say with a grain of salt. Wide receiver core, they seem excited about. I'm going to knock 10% off that excitement until we see what they do. Nelson, Mosey, Ives, the 5 running backs that Dana Holgerson mentioned. I get why he mentioned them, but you just ran through the names. Should you have a starter established by now? Probably not, but I'm kind of tempering my enthusiasm, for that position as well. And I get what Dana Holgerson's saying. At some point, if you want to add someone, you have to get rid of someone at the same point. But, I thought Dana Holgerson was fine up there. I thought Rob Orich handled the moment pretty well, all things considered, said all the right things, and I think in the right way. And Jay and I talked about this a little bit, the tunnel of expectations. We have a new phrase. It's not quite the strain. It's not the Big Ten's going to have to adapt to us. But I did like the tunnel of expectations because, Bach, I do think that that's what this program needs is tunnel vision on football. That's exactly what Rob Orich was saying, and I hope that bears true this spring.
Yeah, I hope so too. And again, it was Rob Orich's kind of debut, so I thought again that went well. I think maybe it was some of the most entertaining times was just when they announced the practice schedule was switching. And it was like, okay, we're going through the questions, and Sip's just like, you could tell it was almost like Sip wanted to know for his own like time purposes of planning. Like, what time are you talking about here? I was like, it's like, all right.
Will I be eating at Perkins this time, or will I be at practice?
I gotta base my schedule around this, so I need to know what time this starts and ends. So I thought that was entertaining. And then, I think if there was another question directed at Holgerson of like, hey, the fans are a little concerned about the running back position. And Holgerson, is it the fans or the media? So I think it's kind of interesting because, sometimes those stories, again, maybe can be media driven. Sometimes it's the media somewhat having to speak for the fans and what's going on there. But I think the running back position, as we see it, and as they were talking, a big course of the topic, and we'll play many of those sound clips here in a bit, is just kind of the resources that are here at Nebraska. And I mean, you mentioned if you add one, you got to let one go and all that. But especially from just kind of the overall Matt Rule perspective of it seems like the roller coaster is just kind of up and down, and it's going to continue to be that way. Battling with the Joneses, right? You have to spend with the money there, and so it continues just to be kind of this, okay, feels like you need more, you want more, you're asking for more. And then at some point last season, it was, hey, we're pretty good. We're right there. Might not be the top team, but we're right there. And then it seemed like it kind of came back down a little bit yesterday to, yeah, it's the best we've ever done. We're, it's as good a position as we can be, but, kind of going through it as well as like, well, we just can't add everyone anyway. There is a finite reason. And certainly there is a realm of it's obviously some clarity there, and there's a lot of truth to that. Interesting too, in pointing out Major League Baseball as something that you see there, where it's tough to kind of compete with the big guys. The teams with the more money more often win, and I can't help it. All I thought of was Oregon, because you get that probably about 2 or 3 times a year in the last 3 years. You pretty much, that's a big talking point going into the game against Oregon because they're, of course, the Nike factory.
Is Oregon the New York Mets of college football? I mean, I guess the Mets have actually won a championship, unlike Oregon. But, spend all this money. You're out in front. You're flashy to some degree. You can sign the superstars, and you just never deliver. That's just a quick offhand comparison. But, no, I think you're onto something there, Bach. And that's where some consistency in messaging would be great. Matt Rule has the reputation for targeting his message, directing it towards certain groups of people. And it did feel like last year, someone, I don't know who, I don't even want to speculate who, but someone or multiple someone's, in relative positions of authority told Matt Rule, dude, we're doing the best we can. You have enough money. Stop talking about it, and then for him to come back right away. Now, I forget the exact tenor of his transfer portal press conference, if there's any of that involved there or not. But for the very first press conference of spring, like you said, the best we've ever done, but there's still more work to be done. I think that on its face, that's fine, right? It's a rallying cry. Yeah, we're doing better. You guys, it's an acknowledgement that, spending has increased, that there is more money flowing, and that's good. I think it's supposed to be a pat on the back. But it wouldn't shock me if some of those same people that said, dude, quit complaining, you have everything that you've asked for and probably more, if they wouldn't take that as, again, a little slap in the face. Like, really? I mean, you tried to hide it behind a compliment, but you're still saying that you need more or you want more. Maybe it's as simple as college football is a spending league where whoever has the most money is going to win. I think there's some places you can say that's always been true, but I hope that that's not where we're at. Maybe that's naive of me to think that there's still room for, good old fashioned development and, kind of traditional avenues of getting better in college football outside of, hey, pay for the best players and that's your ticket to success. But maybe that is where we're at the end of the day. And maybe Matt Rule's being realistic that, until Nebraska has a $40 or $50 million roster, he's always going to be asking for more. I just don't know.
But and again, I think it's understandable, and it's a good place. I think I think overall the tenor of the press conference was positive, and if nothing else, just kind of a fresh start. And all right, let's kind of move away from the end of last season, which obviously went in the wrong direction, and here we are moving forward with this team. But it was weird because in that moment, it is to me, and it's not something we don't know, but it is obviously always different when you hear it from the head coach.
Right.
Is that this, there probably shouldn't be similar, and he didn't put it this way, but he said basically they're in a spot where they can be within striking distance of the top, of the top teams. And that's, again, that kind of just lets you know where you are at and what your expectations should be for the season for Nebraska, specifically when you go in against the Ohio States and the Oregons of the world. But of course, everybody's example of why that shouldn't be too much of an excuse is you're also going to play Indiana. And Indiana didn't have all of that. Now, Mark Cuban jumping in. We see Curt Cignetti, in fact, today sign a new contract worth $13.2 million per year. They might start to lean into more one of the money schools. We'll see. Again, you get a super donor, you certainly can be. By the way, just one of three coaches making 13 million or more.
Okay, so it's Cignetti. It's
Cignetti.
Kirby Smart.
Yep.
And is it Ryan Day?
It is not.
It is not. Okay, wait a minute. Did Dabo get up there?
No.
No. Okay.
You're doing a good job of kind of the top ranked.
Yeah.
Coaches.
DeBoer is not up there.
No.
Let's see. Did Lanning get an extension?
No.
No. Wait a minute. Okay. Lincoln Riley?
No.
That's not made public.
No.
Sark?
No.
Wait a minute.
You're gonna be upset when
Freeman?
I tell you. No.
No. Okay. Wait a minute. Got to think this through.
Think of who is usually the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Guys who signed most recently.
Yeah.
The big offseason hire.
Whittingham?
No.
I give up.
Kiffin.
Oh,
Lane
duh.
Kiffin.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
it is.
Sure.
So three $13 million coaches in college football. Curt Cignetti certainly deserves to be among them. Kirby does too. And Kiffin is the new guy, right? Like I said, that's kind of how it goes these days, or at any time when you're bidding, the money goes up for kind of the latest, biggest hire of the offseason, and that's where he's at. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's interesting, especially with the schedule ahead that we all know, and there wasn't much talk about that, and there shouldn't be. I come out from the press conference optimistic, while at the same time, a little bit of kind of setting in place of college football. And Matt Rule, another big part of this was like rules are changing, things are constantly evolving, all this sort of stuff. But just kind of letting you know as Husker fans, you're you're not the Yankees, you're not the Red Sox or the Dodgers. We're kind of trying to move up, from maybe more of the middle of the pack, and certainly higher middle. Maybe you never want to say when all this split happened, it was always kind of like, was Nebraska's going to be one of the haves, not one of the have-nots? And they are, but they're not overwhelmingly that.
They're in the haves club, but they're not the ones that are upsetting the temperature of the room.
Yeah.
Right. They're not the one that everyone wants to go up and talk to at the party. Right. Nebraska's kind of waiting in line to rub elbows with and, converse with the big boys in line. And to be quite frank, Bach, it's a mini miracle that, college sports is having all the issues that it is right now so that, Nebraska can remain in that club. I think that right now, if you split off into the top 40 teams in college football and then the next 40 or whatever, Nebraska would be in that second group trying to fight its way up, still living off of reputation, which is fine. It works out pretty well for Husker fans. But I think for Nebraska football and the health of the program moving forward, it's probably going to be 5-10 years before we get all this, SCORE Act, save the NCAA, whatever stuff figured out when it comes to rev share versus NIL and all that stuff. But there's going to be a day where even if it's not fully settled, it's settled enough that we move on to some other problem. And Nebraska better hope that there's a chair for it still at the table. And the best way that that's going to be made possible is by having success, is finding ways to navigate the landscape like other teams have. Maybe it's as simple as, find the money, pony up and navigate it that way. But there are two worlds. There's one in which Nebraska is still in the big boys club and they're in the top 40 and they're relevant every year. There's another world where Nebraska's fighting to get back there, which is, I think, where Nebraska is now. And it can't afford, I think, to be left on the outside looking in when the music stops, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, it is kind of, obviously we all lived through it, so we can understand this. But again, I go back to the times of, maybe early, kind of in the 2000s or mid 2000s when fans were frustrated when a Husker highlight wouldn't be on College Game Day.
Right.
And it was like, well, how are they, turning down one of the, and this was before there was more, it was less obvious. The SEC, ESPN were connected. There were still kind of whispers there, but it wasn't, again, as obvious as it is now. The way that the TV broadcast, stations have kind of taken over the direction of college football. And it was always, so there was a lot of frustration there. Now I'm surprised, it's almost like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme right there. You ever see the Husker highlight roll through game? You're like, hey, we made it this week. It just does not happen as much. And again, part of that might be still that contract, but the bigger part is we all, again, I hate to say it, but we all know it. Nebraska just haven't had a whole lot of relevant wins in the last decade. And so, like you said, they're just got that. The one way to fix it and get your self back in those discussions is to start winning those games. And hopefully Matt Rule in Nebraska can get that going. Let's take a quick break here on One-on-One. We've got plenty more to talk about from the press conference. We'll play some of those clips and talk more about if this feels like a $25 million roster. Coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
This is Jordy Ball for Anderson Ford. For years, Anderson has relied on an exceptional customer experience. But just this once, they're going to rely on a really great pitch.
Right now, lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for $199 per month.
Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1007055. Previous service loader. $199 per month. Lease for 36 months with approved credit. 7,500 miles per year. 6,800 due at signing. No security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Plus take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26. See dealer for details.
Planet Fitness has everything you need anytime the motivation hits, so you can give everything you've got. With most clubs open 24 hours, you've got access to our best-in-class equipment to tackle early morning reps, late-night miles, and every workout in between. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends February 27th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Geode Health is now open in Lincoln, bringing high-quality mental health care to the community. Located downtown near Lincoln Central Business District, this is Geode's first location in Nebraska and part of a growing national footprint. Now welcoming patients to work with Dr. Eric Curry, board-certified outpatient psychiatrist specializing in adult mental health care, including treatment for ADHD, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, medication management, and more. Geode is also growing in its Lincoln Care Team, with opportunities for therapists interested in collaborative, patient-centered care. Appointments available now. Visit geodehealth.com. That's GEODE health.com.
Get ready, Lincoln. It's a huge weekend at the Icebox. The Lincoln Stars are back home Friday and Saturday taking on their conference rival Fargo Force in a critical push in the playoffs. Both nights, enjoy $8 vodka Red Bulls while you cheer on the Stars as they battle for postseason positioning. Saturday's game is being presented by Eagle Raceway, so expect even more high-octane excitement. The puck drops at 7 o'clock on Friday and 6 o'clock on Saturday. Don't miss your chance to be part of the push for the playoff energy. Secure your seats now at LincolnStars.com and be there when it matters most.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to One-on-One with DP. Sponsored by the Downtown Lincoln Foundation on 93.7 The Ticket.
We are back here on One-on-One on 93.7 The Ticket. DP is out today. He'll be back next week. So myself, Jake Buckman, and Austin Overman in studio with you today here for a 2-hour edition of One-on-One. We're talking a lot of Husker football press conference, and I left off asking the question, does it feel like Nebraska has a $25 million roster? Of course, we don't know the exact, but with rev share and everything in there, that's kind of about the guesstimate people are kind of getting to. And of course, Matt Rule said that other teams might be working with $40 to $50 million rosters, which obviously is a big way to jump. Far distance for Nebraska to jump there. I'll start with you, Austin. Does it, and again, this is kind of an ever evolving conversation, but it's just interesting that Nebraska probably does have the highest paid roster that they've ever had at this point in time. Yet I think part of the offseason lack of Kool-Aid, if you want to put it that way, is it wasn't a whole lot of splashy moves. Now, I'm not trying to go down on anything that they did get. I do like the moves that they've made to fortify the offensive line and bring in a veteran quarterback and Quasi Gilmer and all these guys. So I'm not taking a shot at anybody. That's just kind of the overall feel. Does it feel like to you Nebraska has a $25 million roster?
Without knowing how much each guy is being paid, not really my business, nor do I care. No, it doesn't feel like this should be a $25 million roster. Now, I'm sure, the 5 figures and the 6 figures, the occasional 7 figures, they add up, right? That's just how it works. So, no, I'm not surprised that, Nebraska, would keep spending it, new record on a roster every year. You would think that last year's roster with Raiola and Johnson and Key and Hunter, et cetera, would have been the previous highest paid. I don't know if Matt Rule said that specifically, but I would feel somewhat comfortable in saying in the rev share era, that would be Nebraska's highest paid roster. It wouldn't shock me if the numbers add up quick. Nebraska is paying, reasonable rates, on average, right? Not going out and just throwing money at the problem to fix it, or at a guy that was their, 4th or 5th option at a position, right? I don't think that Nebraska is doing that, but $25 million is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And to your point, where is, the consistent, proven, borderline All-America production across the board? It's just not there. And I was on board. I still am, Bach, and it's too late for this to happen. It's not you can't go back. But I was of the mind that Nebraska should try to maybe not save money, but invest money a little bit, this year in terms of get the developmental kind of projects, guys that you feel good about being here in 2 years. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% hit rate, but if this is a $25 million roster, it feels to me more like $25 million worth of bandages, not necessarily over bullet holes or anything, but, there's some pretty serious cuts on the roster. To use that analogy, you replaced a lot on the offensive line. You brought in, essentially an entirely new look defense in a lot of ways. So the roster changed in large part because the coaches changed. And so maybe $25 million doesn't get you nearly as far as it used to in college athletics anymore. And I'm more than willing to believe that. And maybe Nebraska is right on pace, right on the nose for this is what a $25 million roster looks like in college football. And if that's the case, if the economics are where they are in Nebraska spending, responsibly, relatively speaking, good for them. Pat on the back, go do it. But man, $25 million seems like a lot of money to be pouring into a roster that I think we still have a bunch of questions about. When you say $25 million, to me, that should be more answers than questions. And maybe that's just not the reality in college football anymore.
Yeah, it's just, and again, I think if you asked that 2 years ago, you said absolutely not. This isn't anywhere close. And again,
Right.
now that rev share is baked in, it's just interesting though how quickly it's turned from rev share. Now everybody's got a shot to. Well, they're way above. They're doubling what they're allowing on rev share or beyond that, and it's going to continue to be that way. And I do think rev share might is going to plan to kind of go up over the years as well to try to keep up with that. But that's the problem with this from the beginning. I mean, you can, and we know this, you can structure it as much as you want. You could pay him, you could have a salary cap, you could pay him nothing like we did before. There's still going to be somebody going around with a McDonald's bag full of cash to throw into somebody's lap.
Well, and see, that's where college sports still has a branding problem, because we call it the rev share. We don't call it the salary cap. We call it NIL. We don't call it endorsements, or personal branding deals. Because, Bach, why do we have the same conversations with every big free agent? Oh, they probably want to go to New York. Oh, they probably want to go to LA. Oh, they might want to go down to Dallas or Miami, these destination cities. Because guess why? They're good for branding. They're good for marketing.
NIL, yeah.
That's what it is at the professional level. We hear about it a lot less because it's been going on longer. It's just baked into the fabric. I'm not saying if we magically replace the words, revenue sharing allotment with salary cap, or if we replaced NIL with marketing, the problems would magically go away and everyone would be on board with it, right? There's still enough of the old guard, the old mentality baked into college sports that people are going to have issues with it in whatever form it takes. But yeah, complaining about how much more money this school has compared to that school is just like complaining about, well, why do, the Knicks get in the running for all the free agents? Why do the Lakers get in the running for all the free agents? Because of that money above and beyond the salary cap. That's always been a thing in professional sports. It's always been a thing in college sports, right? Where the salary cap used to be zero and teams would go above and beyond it. Now you have your quote unquote salary cap with the rev share. But guess why some places are more attractive than others is because they can go above and beyond with that marketing NIL money. That's always been a thing in sports. We're just talking about it in different words now.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a good point. It's just, again, it continues to be an evolving conversation, and obviously it's just difficult. The ambiguity of not knowing, what, like you said, it would be nice if you could say salary cap instead of rev share, but you don't know what each school is doing. Like, what percentage does the football team get? And then, from there, they've done their best, and there's been models released of like how much should you pay or how much some teams are doing this and that. Mm-hmm. But it's not everybody. Not everybody has the full amount of rev share that they can give. So it is a bit of a mess, and it continues to be a mess. I thought that was one of the more entertaining or interesting part of the conversations too yesterday at the podium was kind of the question to Matt Rule of like, how much do you dive into the numbers? And him explaining through the process that even as, with their GM Pat Stewart and, everybody that they have, they try to emphasize to him, how much they need him, that sort of stuff, the individual play that they're going after. But, just kind of breaking up the difference between that and the NFL, where the NFL, at least you have like a general idea of what people are being paid based on salary cap and,
it's
people
all
around the league. You're right. Yeah. Whereas here it's like, you're just kind of throwing a number out and hopefully that's one of the top numbers, but you have no clue. And somebody could come back and tell you, well, this team's giving us that, but you don't know if that's true.
And that's just the thing too, is the agent landscape in college, I know gets brought up a lot as well. I think there's just some tacit acknowledgement in professional sports that, there's an unwritten code, some unwritten rules. We're not going to do that, right? Sure, we'll negotiate, right? Sure, we'll try to drive up our price because it's our job. But those guys are certified. A lot of them have been at it for a long time. Same with the GMs and the owners, right, that work with these agents in a bunch of cases, to where I'm sure there is plenty of shady stuff. I'm sure there are those agents that, go behind the back or negotiate on the side. But it seems like it's either a lot rarer or spoken about a lot differently. It just seems like they're actual like rules, guidelines. This is how you behave as an agent in professional sports, where the decorum, I think is the word I'm looking for, just doesn't seem to be there in college athletics, right? I can think of a few situations offhand, around the region even, where, the agents play the athletic department who doesn't have any idea, what they're doing, because this is so new to them. They haven't had to handle it in that regard, right? Because guess what? These ADs have their own agents that handled their own negotiations. So they have that understanding of the process, but knowing which agents you can trust, that you can take at their word, to what degree that's true. Maybe you can believe half of what this guy says. Here's the situation. Here's where we gathered intel from. I get it. ADs have a lot on their plate. It's why some of this stuff gets farmed out. But it just seems so much easier for college sports agents to get into the game and to fudge with the numbers and just do so much more back channel stuff that comes out as looking more unsavory than it seems in the pros.
Well, I think too the word agent in the pros is somebody that is in that business is hired. I mean, it's a fair name. I think for a lot of these college kids, I would prefer the term representative over agent because they don't. This is a lot of them. This is just new to them. They don't. Some of them just get into it because they see they can make some money. Some of them it's just, hey, I got an uncle that kind of knows a little bit to do with money. He can be my representative.
Right. And see, that's just the thing, right? Hire an agent. Hire one with a good reputation. If you, again, this is not a knock on family. I love my family. I would trust my dad to represent me, for example, or my uncle probably, I'd want him in the room with me. But it's also not their day job, And how many stories, Bach, do we hear the agent horror stories? But I think for every one agent horror story, there's 2 or 3 about this is how this family manipulated this process. Look at what this family did to this poor kid, yanking him around, making him make this decision. And so I'm with you, right? The agent tag should carry weight. It should mean something. But a bunch of the representatives, like you're saying, haven't exactly been good for student athletes either in far too many cases.
No, and you're hearing reports too, like agents. Again, it's written into what they do. There's a certain percentage they're going to take, and some of these representatives go far and above that percentage that an agent would charge. So again, continues to be part of the mess in college football. We'll continue to dive into the press conference from yesterday. Specifically, I want to ask Austin too, and you can think about this over the break. The difference between Matt Rule and Dana Holgorsen and their response to what they learned from last season. Matt Rule is more into saying, well, I've made some adjustments from what we did learn from last season. Holgorsen shut it down. He didn't learn anything from last season. He's been doing it for too long. So we'll talk about that and more from the press conference coming next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One on One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's seafood season at Amigos. Time to get that one-of-a-kind crisp crab rangoon burrito and dip it in some sweet chili sauce. There's a crab rangoon Frenchie, too. Enjoy grilled fish, grilled shrimp, or crispy fish tacos. Wrapped in warm whole wheat tortillas. Topped with pico de gallo, cabbage, and Amigos Chipotle mayo sauce. From jumbo shrimp baskets or fish and chips to fish tacos, there's something for everyone. You'll love the bold, fresh flavors of seafood at Amigos. Amigos is serving up a brand new way to score the bold, fresh flavors you love with 8 affordable value meals. At $5 and $6, these meals are easy on the wallet, so treat yourself anytime. Sink into the new 3-cheese melt or taco melt, both stacked with crave-worthy flavor in every bite. There's crunchy taquito dippers, too, perfect for dunking in Amigos' famous ranch or spicy cheese. Big flavor, small price. Value meals at Amigos.
Geode Health is now open in Lincoln, bringing high-quality mental health care to the community. Located downtown near Lincoln Central Business District, this is Geode's first location in Nebraska and part of a growing national footprint. Now welcoming patients to work with Dr. Eric Curry, board-certified outpatient psychiatrist specializing in adult mental health care, including treatment for ADHD, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, medication management, and more. Geode is also growing in its Lincoln Care Team, with opportunities for therapists interested in collaborative, patient-centered care. Appointments available now. Visit geodehealth.com. That's GEODE health.com.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas, this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket's social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
I'm Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite. So the Nebraska Lottery has asked me to talk about the Cash Blast promotion. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. If you're winning vouchers from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So when can I explode the dynamite?
No dynamite in the studio, Dr. Nobel.
How about a cherry bomb?
No.
Sparkler?
Sorry.
2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, the light breeze, an afternoon high around 30. Tonight, a slight chance of snow. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies, a low around 14. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with light winds, an afternoon high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Bucket for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovbneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. Bundle up, bring your crew, and make this winter one for the books with Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st at Beer House. Enjoy winter brews that will tangle with your taste buds, polka dancing, games like Hammerschlagen and Stein Stamina, and more. Bach beer will be flowing and sausages and pretzels will be available for purchase. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the party goes outside until 6 p.m. before moving inside. VIP tickets are $75, but just $10 gets you in the door. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for Bachfest on Saturday, February 21st. Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street, online at doubleeagle.golf.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln. Before I bring Andy on, we want to wish you joy, success, and good health in 2026. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie. And by the way, that was well said.
Andy, I know you want to kick off 2026 with a bang. What's going on at the dealership?
We got a lot going on here, Charlie. We have incredible savings on every new remaining 2025, New Year's savings on every new 2026, special low long-term financing, and special lease rates. The biggest news is we have more than 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from.
How about pre-owned?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas right now with prices starting at under $10,000, and we have special low rates.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I Parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I Parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Back to One-on-One with DP. Sponsored by the Downtown Lincoln Foundation on 93.7 The Ticket.
We are back here on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Austin Orman, and we are with you not just for the next few minutes in this segment, but for the next hour as well. Woo! As it is an extended one-on-one with DP. Since DP's on the building, we're just going to take it over, make it 2 hours. No, he's okay with it. Let's go ahead and play this clip from yesterday. It was a question I had. It was probably my favorite part of the press conference from yesterday when Dana Holgorsen was asked if he learned anything from last year.
Nah, I'm doing this 33 years now. Pretty much seen it all. Do you know the offense better? I mean, we're constantly just tweaking things and tweaking things and tweaking things to where it's not foreign, so. But no, I thought we made strides last year. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but, I thought we made strides, and there were some things that went wrong that set us back and didn't detour me and what I think this offense is capable of.
So there you go. Maybe he did a good job of maybe recovering from the initial. Didn't really learn anything last year. But it's also, I think it's kind of interesting because, I think it is fair. He's been around a long time. He understands. It's not like he's like, well, yeah, I think we need better. This came to me last year. We need better protection. We need better tackles. Like, he probably knows the strengths and weaknesses of the team, has seen it on many different teams, and to try to get around that, in where to go. But you hope that you're still learning something new every year, hopefully every day, not just every year. But that's a definitely interesting answer.
Well, it's Dana Holgorsen being Dana Holgorsen at the end of the day, right? I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised that he would say something like that. And I get what he means, right? I mean, there's probably not much about the game of football that he hasn't learned at some point. That's where maybe a coordinator with, I don't know if more tact is the right word, but maybe slightly more of a, media friendly person. Not Dana Holgorsen's not, but you know what I mean, right? A more traditional offensive coordinator speaking to the media might say, yeah, we have these repeat teams on our schedule, so I learn a little bit more about what they want to do. Every year you're in the Big Ten, you learn a little bit more about what it takes, you learn about what it takes to reach a college football playoff and what it is we're missing. Learn a lot about our roster, right? Learn what we had in TJ Lateef, learn what we had in the young running backs. But I've been doing this 33 years. He's pretty much seen it all. It's probably the most Dana Holgorsen way he could have possibly answered that question.
Yeah. Again, I don't overanalyze it. It's Dana being Dana, like you're saying. So I don't have any problem there. It's kind of interesting though that he did say he felt like the offense improved over the course of last season, because numbers wise, it did not. It kind of actually, obviously you play some of those teams, you can stack up some numbers, but even, Michigan State and Maryland in October, you're scoring 30 points. By the end of it, they were having a hard time getting to 20.
Right.
So, it just kind of depends on how you look at it. Obviously injuries, definitely made a difference there. The other thing is, and I'm interested in your taking this because I think about this. It's just the November problem, right? Nebraska's not winning in November. And I think that played out again this year, and you can kind of get into the strength and conditioning and all that sort of stuff. But if you put Penn State and Iowa in October last year and Michigan State and Maryland in November last year, you think there would be would you still have a November problem, or is it kind of the teams you're playing there?
Well, Bach, does Matt Rule in Nebraska ever lost to Michigan State in November in a notable game? Oh wait, yes, they did. The very first November game.
Harlan Barnett.
How about that guy? Has Nebraska ever lost to Maryland in November while searching for bowl eligibility? Has that ever happened? Oh wait, that happened as well. So that's flippant. That's probably not fair. The way that those teams were playing and constructed, yes, I would like to think that Nebraska would have beat them even in November of last year. Maybe there's something about it. Maybe it's Nebraska's strength and conditioning that goes by the wayside. I don't know. If you thought last November was rough, don't look forward to this November.
Yeah.
It only gets tougher. So, I think that, you probably do, flip the losses into October and the wins into November if that's the case. But who knows, right? We've seen the staff do some crazy things in November. 2-10 overall across the 3 Novembers. So it's hard for me to say for sure that Michigan State and Maryland would have been November wins for Nebraska, but I would like to think they would have been.
And of course, they were not easy wins as what they were to begin with. And then you kind of factor in, well, what are you talking about? Is Dylan still out post USC and having to play those teams? So, right. I mean, it's obviously a question we'll never get the answer to, but sometimes I just try to play my own mental games and try to figure out where Nebraska's bigger problems are. Is it November? Is it good teams? It's both.
It's all
both.
the above.
They just got to win. They got to win some of these games, make us feel better about it. Like I said, we play the out music, but the show will go on. We'll be back coming up next year with more breakdown of football and talk more about Nebraska, all sports this weekend, as there's got a lot going on. We'll do that coming next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Planet Fitness has everything you need, anytime the motivation hits, so you can give everything you've got. With most clubs open 24 hours, you've got access to our best-in-class equipment to tackle early morning reps, late-night miles, and every workout in between. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends February 27th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyons leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Serving their customers for 43 years, it's Wolf Ace Hardware, your local hardware man who says please give blood generously. By doing so, your efforts could help save someone's life. Why not be a silent hero? Roll up your sleeves and give the gift of life. Wolf Ace Hardware, located at 6118 Havelock Avenue in Lincoln, a quality company that cares. Contractors and homeowners get to Wolf Ace Hardware for all your paint, brushes, and anything else you need for your upcoming projects. For more information, call 402-466-7707. Pick up everything you need at Wolf Ace Hardware, where you're always appreciated as a friend and customer. Wishing you all a very healthy and prosperous 2026.
It's seafood season at Amigos. Time to get that one-of-a-kind crisp crab rangoon burrito and dip it in some sweet chili sauce. There's a crab rangoon Frenchie, too. Enjoy grilled fish, grilled shrimp, or crispy fish tacos. Wrapped in warm whole wheat tortillas. Topped with pico de gallo, cabbage, and Amigos Chipotle mayo sauce. From jumbo shrimp baskets or fish and chips to fish tacos, there's something for everyone. You'll love the bold, fresh flavors of seafood at Amigos. Amigos is serving up a brand new way to score the bold, fresh flavors you love with 8 affordable value meals. At $5 and $6, these meals are easy on the wallet, so treat yourself anytime. Sink into the new 3-cheese melt or taco melt, both stacked with crave-worthy flavor in every bite. There's crunchy taquito dippers, too. Perfect for dunking in Amigos' famous ranch or spicy cheese. Big flavor, small price. Value meals at Amigos.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, the light breeze, an afternoon high around 30. Tonight, a slight chance of snow. Otherwise, we'll see mainly cloudy skies, a low around 14. And tomorrow, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day with light winds and an afternoon high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Psych! It is not Adam Carricker. It is myself, Jake Bogman, Austin Orman, in studio here. We thought maybe surprise some of you folks here. It is still us continuing here. Adam is out. He will be back next week as well. We mentioned DP out. So we've got 2 hours of myself and Austin and breaking into the second hour here. As we do, Nebraska softball also getting going in a top 15 matchup already this afternoon from the Mary Nutter Classic out there. Top of the first, nothing to report. Just wanted to be aware.
It's just happening.
Yeah, that South Carolina and Nebraska are playing now. So another opportunity for Nebraska softball to get a top 15 victory. And they've got 5 games here out in California. Only 2 against top 25 teams. So in South Carolina, Texas A&M. Yeah, why do they schedule somebody hard for once?
Come on.
Obviously kidding. Nebraska softball has already beaten 2 number 1 teams this year. Enters this weekend's action at 6-4. I think a lot of this is Austin. Is that because the Big Ten softball is similar to the Big Ten baseball problem, where you might not get as much of a strength of schedule down the line? I know some of those West Coast teams can help out, but
yeah, no, I mean, I think it's part of it, but I also think this is even another level for Nebraska softball. It's a team that's certainly played its way into these discussions. I mean, it's been a relatively consistent regional team for a while now. And obviously you add the Jordy Fromm effect to everything that's going on. Yeah, I mean, Nebraska's gotten some, marquee top 25, some top 10 games before, but to get, 3 cracks at the number 1 team and go 2-1 in those opportunities, it's even another level for Nebraska.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, by the way, with those West Coast teams, which you kind of think of traditionally can get going. Only UCLA on the schedule for Nebraska this year. But so we'll continue to kind of give you updates on what's going on there. Also today, a chance at the top 15 victory for Husker baseball as they take on Louisville. That will be at around 3 p.m. And of course, Nick Sainert out there. What did you take away from from seeing the Husker baseball up close and personal as they went 3-1 through their opening event?
Yeah, they look pretty good. I would like to see the pitching put some guys away a little earlier. I think the pitch counts got driven up in some cases. Had a bunch of different arms contribute out of the bullpen. Lineup was pretty impressive. There's really only one guy coming out of the weekend that I was really worried about at the plate. Thought the approach was generally solid and the results were there. So, for Nebraska to go 3-1 against NCAA tournament competition, essentially, those are all perennial regional teams in the desert that Nebraska faced. Might have been the second most impressive, maybe third most impressive opening weekend from a Big Ten team. I mean, Michigan did some really good stuff on the other side of Phoenix over in Surprise. And Michigan State actually ended up, I think, taking 2 out of 3 from the same Louisville team that Nebraska is going to end up playing here down in Arlington. So a really good opening weekend for Nebraska. I said going in that 2-2 would be fine. You'd need some context later in the year to determine if, that was a successful weekend. 3-1, almost no matter how Nebraska got to 3-1, was going to be, an unqualified success. Always stinks to lose on getaway day. Always stinks to give up 6 in the first and then make the comeback that Nebraska did and have a chance to win. It was painful, but to go 3-1 to outscore your opponents, 34-18, I think, on the weekend overall. Really impressive stuff, especially for an opening weekend for Husker baseball.
Yeah, good stuff out there. Again, in Arlington, Texas, Nick is out there. Follow him and the 93.7 The Ticket page on Twitter or X to kind of keep up with the updates there. Once again, they'll take on Louisville at 3 p.m. Don't want to overlook Kansas State. They've got them tomorrow, but another opportunity against the top 20 squad in Florida State on Sunday. So should be a lot of fun for the Huskers. You think, are they going to wear the blacks again? I know that was a big talking point.
So if they wear the blacks, it's most likely going to come on Sunday against Florida State. And if Nebraska opens the weekend up 2-0. Oh, that man's tire is not spinning in back. Oh, there we go. Okay. He was braking. It was not spinning. Okay. That was funny. Anyways, yeah, no, if Nebraska beats Louisville and they beat Kansas State, I would not be shocked to see them. but typically it's championship Sunday is what Will Bolt and co have called it. Typically the black alternate uniforms come out when Nebraska's going for a sweep.
Oh, okay.
Which is what they did over the weekend. They went 2-0. They bust out the blacks on Sunday. They win it. So I think that's still the plan. I don't have final confirmation on that, but I think that's what it's been in years past.
Got to earn it. I love it.
You got to earn it.
Yeah, I like that. What are your? I know Nebraska was picked number one among Big Ten teams before the West Coast teams, but a few West Coast teams ahead of them. What is the overall expectation, you think, for Nebraska baseball this year? I always think it's interesting when we go into these. We go into a year and you kind of ride the ups and downs, and by the time the tournament play starts, then you're well, we want to win it all. This is what we expect the whole time. But just from your perspective, following the Husker baseball squad, is this, I think obviously a lot of people are focused on more regular season success, right? Rather than having to lean on, winning the Big Ten tournament to get to play further into the postseason. Is this a team that you think it has what it takes to be in the contention for Big Ten regular season champion?
It's going to be tough to be Big Ten regular season champions because you have not just the number one team in the Big Ten, but the number one team in the country in UCLA, who's pretty loaded. Now, Nebraska shouldn't be scared of UCLA. They beat them in the do or die part of the Big Ten tournament last year. And I believe Nebraska actually misses UCLA when it comes to a regular season series. So you won't have head to head against them, which has its ups and its downs. The positive of that is, okay, you don't have 3 games against the toughest team in the conference where you're hoping to snag one, or, maybe if everything breaks right too. The downside of that is RPA takes a little bit of a hit. Maybe you don't know how you stack up against the absolute, best of the best, or supposedly so in the conference. My expectation for Nebraska is probably a little bit different, or my hopes for Nebraska would be a little bit different than nationally, because I am in the have a better regular season, have a regional berth all but secured going into the Big Ten tournament. Don't fall flat on your face in Omaha and play your way into probably a lower 2 seed would be kind of my hope for what Nebraska can accomplish, be, between teams 17 and 32 in the country. But I saw some preseason prognostication Spock that had Nebraska down as a 3 seed and had Nebraska among the last 4 teams into the NCAA tournament bracket, obviously behind a UCLA. Oregon's been a super regional team over the last few years as well. USC is apparently back. Washington's climbing. I saw some places pick Indiana ahead of Nebraska. Penn State's really built. Iowa's going to be in the conversation in some form or fashion. So if the Big Ten's a 4-bid league out of the 64-team field to Omaha, it's one thing when you're 4 out of 12 in the college football playoff. It's another when you're 4 out of 64 as a nominal power conference in baseball. But I think people on the outside looking in just hold Nebraska to the standard of, hey, if they make it, good for them. But they're not necessarily expecting that Nebraska is a Grand Slam shoe-in into the NCAA tournament. I think Nebraska should be a tournament team, especially after starting 3-1 this weekend. My next expectation then for Nebraska, you got to go 500 or better at your regional, right? So often Nebraska has been, 3 and done, right? Because it's double elimination at regionals. Let's say that Nebraska gets a 2 seed. You should win your matchup against the 3 seed, right? You're favored for a reason. Little different down in Stillwater when Nebraska played a Florida team that's record was a little bit deceiving, with the MLB talent they had there. Even Oklahoma, threw some eventual major leaguers, I presume, out there on the mound against the Huskers. But it's never easy when you get to tournament time, right? The 2-3 matchup in a regional is essentially, an 8-9 matchup in a lot of cases. Maybe you can stretch it out to, a 6-11 where there's a little bit of gap between the teams if you get, an SEC team against a mid-major from the Sun Belt, the second or third team that snuck in there. Those games are always coin flips for a reason. But for Nebraska, getting to regionals, I think, has to be the expectation. And then the next step isn't go win a regional. Nebraska baseball, it's true, hasn't gotten that same break that Nebraska softball did last year. When Nebraska softball's the 2 seed, they go down to Baton Rouge and then never have to play LSU, because of the way that bracket broke out, the way Nebraska took care of business. LSU got upset in the first round. Nebraska never saw them. To be fair, Nebraska baseball has never gotten that break where they've been in the 2-3 game, handled business, and then moved on to face the 4 in the winners bracket portion of things. That's never happened, at least in recent memory, for Nebraska baseball. But you also can't plan on that happening, right? You have to assume that you're going to have to take the hard road. If you're in that 2-3 matchup, you should assume you'll have to beat that team that's in front of you and then beat the 1 seed, the host, twice to move on. Nebraska has very rarely even gotten a chance to play that 1 seed for a second time, right? The last time it happened was that 21 team down in Arkansas, where Nebraska managed to push that to a Game 7. Nebraska baseball, number one, hasn't played at an advantage just with the way the bracket's broken. Nebraska baseball also just hasn't created its own advantages in knocking off the 1 seed and putting the hosts back against the wall a little bit, making them dig out of it. So it's not an expectation for me for this team to win a regional. But man, if they can, win 2 games at regionals, be 500 coming home, instead of just going 1-2 and looking kind of uninspiring in the losses, that to me is even a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it is interesting to follow, obviously from what's happened recently in the past year. There's going to be a lot of pressure when you get there, but you have to get there. And of course, we got to see Nebraska do a lot of work as the season has just begun to get there. So that will be the interesting as we follow along. Again, we'll update you on the South Carolina Nebraska softball game that's going on as well throughout the day. Still bottom of the first now, scoreless there. So as we jump around from sport to sport, I want to get to Husker men's basketball here in a second. Quickly though, Husker women's basketball. Do we have to? Yes, we have to. Lost to Oregon 80-76 last night on the road. We're outscored 28-15 in the fourth quarter, ended up losing by 4. So obviously in a good position going into the fourth quarter. It continues to be frustrating for, I know, the girls in the locker room and everybody involved. Now 6 straight losses for the Huskers. For a while, Nebraska was kind of going through this thing where, okay, they're just struggling against top 25 teams. That's understandable, but kind of beating everybody else. That has taken a little bit of a turn here as of late, albeit on the road, both at Minnesota and at Oregon. We're both good teams. They're just not top 25 teams. Now Nebraska is at Washington and Rutgers to finish it out. Rutgers 1-14 in Big Ten play, so at least for Nebraska on senior night should be able to get a win there. But now 5-11 in Big Ten play, 16-11 overall. Still, I mean, they're squarely on the bubble. Huge game though. It all sets up for a huge game against Washington coming up, who's 9-7 and 19-8. So a chance to get a good win on the resume and hopefully finish this thing out with 2 wins. Obviously, we know about the injury situation for the Huskers, but it's just not been exactly the close to the stretch of the season they're looking for.
Not even the close to last night's game. Like you said, nearly doubled up in the fourth quarter. You're looking for that win, right? You lead it by 4 at half. You open up the advantage that you do, the 9-point advantage going into the fourth quarter. And then that's what it's been for this team, Bach, is it's been that one bad quarter. And it's been a different quarter, seemingly every time, right? You can't hang your hat on if Nebraska can just survive the first quarter, within 5, they'll be fine. Sometimes it's the second quarter, it's the third, it's the fourth, like it was last night. Oregon ends that game making its last 6 field goals. On the flip side, Nebraska just 1 for 9. Nebraska took 16 more shots than Oregon did last night, only made 3 more. Nebraska takes 8 more threes, makes 1 fewer. And okay, free throw line plays into it. Oregon takes 24 free throws, Nebraska just 13. But that shouldn't be, what lost you the game, right? That keeps Oregon in the game more so than it's what loses Nebraska the game. The turnovers continue to be a struggle for Nebraska. They turn it over 15 times. Now they do get 16 points off of 16 Oregon turnovers, but Oregon also scored 16 points off of turnovers. Nebraska, 14 offensive rebounds compared to 8 for Oregon, but both teams score 11 second chance points. Nebraska women's basketball hasn't really gotten, the break speed off of them. Sure, the Iowa game looks maybe more respectable than it was at times. Minnesota, Nebraska made a comeback, and then it slipped away late. The Maryland game, maybe Nebraska was competitive there for a minute. But yeah, Bach, this road win at Washington, the season might hinge on it to some degree. I mean, if you're 5-13 or even 6-12 in Big Ten play, what's the quality win? Where's the resume? And especially in a what have you done for me lately sort of, sport, even if Nebraska squeaks in, you're looking at an 11 seed. You're looking at holding on for dear life with, just hanging your hat on, hey, we play in the Big Ten. it's tough, right? Get us against other teams and it'll look better. But the fact that there haven't been answers, the fact there continues to be that disastrous quarter for this team, seemingly night in, night out, especially in this losing streak, I'm sure the staff is working hard looking for answers, but at some point it's what more can they do? At some point players just have to go out there and make one or two more plays. Nebraska just hasn't found a way to do that, especially not against the competition that, at least for a while, was supposedly on equal footing with Nebraska, the belonging in that top 25 discussion, getting the highest ranking, under Amy Williams in her entire 10-year tenure. This is not a perfect comparison. It's not one-to-one by any means. Is Amy Williams Tim Miles? I think there's a little bit more, postseason success there, at least, making it to the postseason. Is Amy Williams Bo Pelini, where you kind of know what you're going to get? And Bo never had a year where the floor dropped out on him like this, but they're going to be in the postseason. They're hanging around. They're going to, have good talent, maybe not elite talent, but when the big games come, Nebraska's not necessarily there consistently competitive. What a frustrating, really last month, I think it's been for Husker women's hoops.
Yeah, reminder, they started off 12-0 this year, so that's why the expectations started to get pretty high for the Huskers. Again, just couldn't do it against the top teams in the Big Ten, starting off with losses to USC and Iowa. But again, those being single-digit losses to top 20 teams over this stretch, the gap is starting to widen a little bit. Now, granted, give them some credit. Again, you have to be in play some pretty good ball to be in a position to be leading at Oregon going in the fourth quarter. But again, just kind of things falling apart for the Huskers there. So as you mentioned, Sunday will be a huge game for the Huskers, 2:00 on BTN at Washington. And the Huskers, it feels like close to a must win. Obviously, if you can do that, beat Rutgers, get one in the Big Ten tournament, I think you'd get in.
Probably two to be safe,
yeah.
because I don't have I can pull up the standings here really quick, but my guess is that Nebraska, wouldn't face a top 4 seed until the third round would be my guess. Big Ten women's basketball 25. Obviously, UCLA wrapped up the crown. They're 16-0 right now. But I mean, Nebraska at 5-11, tied with Wisconsin. You got Purdue, Indiana, Northwestern, Penn State, and Rutgers all below you. My guess is that Nebraska would play one of those lower teams first, and then have a crack at the middle before playing the top, based on the way that the bracket would set up. They're in no danger of missing the tournament. I don't think they can do that mathematically now. So, okay, you beat someone on your footing, you pull a little bit of an upset, and then can you, quote unquote, shock the world and get that marquee win that, okay, yep, fine, we'll put you in because you did that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And again, as dark as it looks now, and then like I said, I mean, there were those Tim Miles years where you have those losing streaks that cost you the season. Remember, this happened to Ben's team last year. They went on a 5-game losing streak, missed the Big Ten tournament, and then, of course, went into the crown, and the rest has been good history since then. So hopefully similar things can get going with the women. We'll come back and talk more about the Husker men's basketball team, as they've got a matchup with Penn State, who is at the bottom of the Big Ten standings. So maybe exactly what Nebraska needs to get going here once again. We'll do that coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
It's seafood season at Amigos. Time to get that one-of-a-kind crisp crab rangoon burrito and dip it in some sweet chili sauce. There's a crab rangoon Frenchie, too. Enjoy grilled fish, grilled shrimp, or crispy fish tacos, wrapped in warm whole wheat tortillas, topped with pico de gallo, cabbage, and Amigos Chipotle mayo sauce. From jumbo shrimp baskets or fish and chips to fish tacos, there's something for everyone. You'll love the bold, fresh flavors of seafood at Amigos. Amigos is serving up a brand new way to score the bold, fresh flavors you love with 8 affordable value meals. At $5 and $6, these meals are easy on the wallet, so treat yourself anytime. Sink into the new 3-cheese melt or taco melt, both stacked with crave-worthy flavor in every bite. There's crunchy taquito dippers, too. Perfect for dunking in Amigos' famous ranch or spicy cheese. Big flavor, small price. Value meals at Amigos.
Geode Health is now open in Lincoln, bringing high-quality mental health care to the community. Located downtown near Lincoln Central Business District, this is Geode's first location in Nebraska and part of a growing national footprint. Now welcoming patients to work with Dr. Eric Curry, board-certified outpatient psychiatrist specializing in adult mental health care, including treatment for ADHD, anxiety, depression, mood disorders, medication management, and more. Geode is also growing in its Lincoln Care team, with opportunities for therapists interested in collaborative, patient-centered care. Appointments available now. Visit geodehealth.com. That's GEODE health.com.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Need service? Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas, this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
It's Flavor Flav, and I'm bringing the hype to the U.S. bobsled and skeleton team with Raisin Cane's, chicken fingers, and cane sauce with a bobsled plush puppy.
One love. Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. It's basketball season, and Salt Mine City is your pregame and postgame headquarters in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Get ready for the game with their big, fatty 7-ounce hamburger or try a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your basketball headquarters, now open at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Back to One-on-One with DP. Sponsored by the Downtown Lincoln Foundation on 93.7 The Ticket.
It is a busy day here in Husker Athletics as softball team currently tied at 0 in the bottom of the second there with number 13 South Carolina. As we mentioned from the beginning of the show as well, Husker baseball has a matchup with number 15 Louisville at 3. Tune into the 93.7 The Ticket Twitter page as well as Nick Sanders' Ticket page. He's live out there. But now I want to turn our attention to Husker basketball, where they look to get back on track against against Penn State this week. Penn State coming in to Lincoln for a 1 p.m. tip on BTN tomorrow. Austin Overman joined me. I'm Jake Bachman. Austin, what do you think the secondary ticket market has this game priced at?
Ooh, okay. $13.
Ooh, a little bit higher. A lot of bit higher, in fact.
Yeah.
I'll make you guess.
33?
Good guess. $35
okay.
is where it is currently at. Of course, that's before the fees. You'll only pay like 50 or something, but pretty decent deal to go see a top 10 team while you can, because Nebraska might not be a top 10 team here when the standings come out, of course, after that loss to Iowa. And of course, that's what I'm kind of referring to as far as Nebraska trying to bounce back here. Penn State, not a very good team. So kind of a perfect opportunity for Nebraska. They don't shoot the ball well. Also don't rebound well, but that hasn't stopped Nebraska from getting out rebounded before. Penn State averages less than 30 rebounds, but so did Iowa. But they come in at this game 2-14 in Big Ten play, 11-16 overall. Did get a win at Washington here in the last couple of games, but coming into this game, they lost at Oregon and Rutgers here most recently. And there's a few players to look out for Penn State. Specifically a couple guys averaging and 3 guys averaging double figures. But the one I think a lot of people are going to be interested in is Eli Rice, former Nebraska basketball player, making his way back into town. And he's basically their shooting threat. He's the only guy above 40% on the roster. Had a game earlier against Ohio State where he hit 6 threes. So as much as we like to cheer for Eli Rice, our former player, I mean, is he going to get the Peyton Sanford treatment here, you think? Absolutely not.
I highly doubt it. Yeah, no, I think that the Sanford treatment will be reserved for Sanford's former team. It was funny, though, that Eli Rice was the lone representative, I believe, for Penn State at Media Days.
Was he really the only one?
Yeah, I know he was there. He might not have been the only one, but he was the only one I remember seeing on the podium and walking around. So maybe, I just missed it, but I know a friend of the station, Wilson Moore, was over there getting some quotes for an Eli Rice story. For a Penn State team and a head coach in Mike Rhodes, that is very grateful that the James Franklin thing happened, because this would be, one of the probably easiest firings for an athletic director, except that, had to let James Franklin go. Didn't have to, chose to let James Franklin go. No, this is a Penn State team that I actually kind of liked the last couple of years. They were long, they were athletic. Mike Rhodes came from VCU, brought Ace Baldwin with him. Ace Baldwin was a stud. That's a guy that got overlooked just, I think, because of the team that he played on. Penn State's going to want to junk it up. They're going to want to play in the muck, right? They'll slow it down just to speed you back up, sort of thing. But they are not necessarily an offensively talented team. I mean, averaging just 75 points per game on the year, but even worse defensively, averaging 79.2 points per game allowed. You see why they are 2-14 and in the cellar in the Big Ten.
And again, it's somewhat probably perfect time for Nebraska to get them here to try to rebound. Obviously, on the loss to Iowa specifically, obviously is going to sting more so than anything right now. But just a couple losses here as of recent for Nebraska. That's where people start to wonder, maybe did Nebraska peak too soon?
I mean, that's always funny to say. I don't think so, because if you've shown that you can peak, you can show that you can get back there. I think that the losing 4 out of 6 is not a great look, but I have to keep going back to this Bach, because Illinois started the Big Ten season a little slow, and look what they've turned into. Wisconsin started the Big Ten season a little slow. Look what they've turned into. Michigan State had a rough stretch. Okay, Michigan State's out there. Guess what? They're right back in it. Purdue, looked really shaky for, a couple weeks there. And we saw what they did in Lincoln, and they continue to play some pretty darn good basketball. I mean, they went on the road and smacked Iowa right before Nebraska got in town as well. So, no, I'm not worried that Nebraska men's basketball peaked too soon. I don't think it's all over and we're just waiting for the inevitable demise and collapse in March. I don't think this is even a collapse at all. I think it's a team that hit a rough patch like pretty much every other top-tier contender in the Big Ten, sans Michigan, has to this point. Now it's time to start playing their way out of it, right? All these other teams had something of a get-right game, either a key win against a ranked team or an emotionally charged game, or a team that, they were clearly better than, that they were able to, welcome home or go on the road either way and just, drop the hammer. And Nebraska needs to do that. I think especially offensively. I think the defense, was pretty well maligned in the first half against Penn State. Certainly the second half against Illinois. But to me, Buck, the bigger concern has been for Nebraska men's basketball offensively. When you're facing a team that's allowing 80 points per game, essentially, and, is bottom 15 in the country in defensive rating, this is a get-right game for the offense. Penn State's going to up the pressure because that's bothered Nebraska. But against a team that's that poor defensively, there is really no excuse for Nebraska not to put up some style points on offense. I think that this is a game that if Nebraska is held, under 85 or so points, I'll have my eyebrows raised a little bit. Penn State has just not been good at all defensively in scheme, in personnel. They only have one guy, bigger than 6'9" that plays consistently. In Ivan Juric, who's a 7-foot freshman out of Croatia. He averages 9 and 5, but Nebraska's seen 7-footers before. They won't back down from that. This needs to be a flex your muscle kind of game. This needs to be a get that winning feeling, get that swagger back, start acting like the bully on the block again game for Nebraska, especially because it's at home.
Yeah, and of course, Nebraska coming off their season worst 52-point output against Iowa. Again, Penn State, not a very good defensive team. Remember, mentioned in the last couple of games, Rutgers and Iowa, they gave up 85 and 83 points respectively. Sit with me for a second because there's a lot of bad performances from their defense this year. They gave up 110 to Michigan at Michigan. They gave up 94 to Northwestern, 84 to Ohio State, 98 to Wisconsin, 96 to Maryland, 93 at Purdue early in the season. Let's see if I can find any other good ones. 113 to Indiana to open up Big Ten play. 113. This is college basketball we're talking about, not the NBA. So certainly defensively, they leave a lot to be desired. Nebraska can get going. And again, I think part of that, when you talk about a perfect opponent for Nebraska to play, there's a couple guys that I think need to get back on track. Austin, who would you like to see? Obviously, I think Peyton Sanford is everybody's pick to lead Nebraska in scoring. Or Price, excuse me, sorry, Peyton. Peyton's not going to lead, but he could be in attendance. Price Sanford is Nebraska's leading scorer and is expecting to lead Nebraska in scoring every time out, I think, at this point. But specifically, Rink Mess and Braden Frager have seemed a little off recently. Do you feel which one would you rather like to see get back into the mix here?
First of all, you skipped over maybe my favorite game. They only allowed 80 points in it, but they allowed 80 points to Pitt, a Pitt team that averages less than 70 points per game, which is exceedingly difficult to do. I know for Husker fans, it's like, what do you mean? That was just like every other year in the Sadler and Collier and Miles eras. But it's kind of hard to average under 70 points per game in college. Pitt is doing that right now. They're right on the borderline, but giving up 80 to that Pitt offense that I've watched in person is pretty impressive. Working a bad way for Penn State. But no, I think it's rink mass because Penn State does have guys Frager's size. I mean, we're going to get the Eli Rice, Braden Frager matchup at some point, and that's going to be pretty fun. But Penn State will park its big man in the paint, right? Penn State is going to give rink mass opportunities from long range. He's got to get going, right? This is not a game where Nebraska will play through rink mass in the post like Rutgers, right? Maybe they drop it off to him a few times if they get a switch, but the big man is going to be in the paint. He is going to be playing drop. If he hedges or if he's, icing the ball screen, Nebraska needs to take full advantage, right? Nebraska's hope is going to be to pull that guy away from the rim, right? For its back cuts like it's gotten, for most of the first 2.5 months of the season. But it's going to take rink mass hitting shots, especially early to draw that 7-footer out of the paint to open up some of those lanes for Nebraska to drive and to cut. So if Rager plays well, it's a bonus. I think that's a guy, too, that needs to get a little bit of his confidence, swagger, whatever you want to call it, back. But I think Rink Mast is, like so much of what Nebraska wants to do, the linchpin, I think, for unlocking pretty much everything, especially in a game like this against Penn State.
And again, part of it's just his shot from deep has not been falling as much. He's still shooting on the season, averaging about 5 3-point shots per game.
And his percentage is right in line with where it's been in his career.
Well, he's at 33%. It's a little bit lower, but yeah.
But it's not out of the
You're
realm,
right. I mean, total in his career, he's actually at 33%.
You're right.
So, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, it's hopefully he can get it going. Obviously, he can get hot. Would be wonderful to see him get back into that mix. Again, I think it's been interesting to watch the season evolve, and we kind of have these team MVP discussions. And early on, it was Rick Mast, and how could you not see it? And then as the season has kind of progressed, it's more turned to Stanford and Hoiberg type of arguments. So it would be great to see him get back into it. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll wrap things up here. We're going to get back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Serving their customers for 43 years, it's Wolf Ace Hardware, your local hardware man who says please give blood generously. By doing so, your efforts could help save someone's life. Why not be a silent hero? Roll up your sleeves and give the gift of life. Wolf Ace Hardware, located at 6118 Havelock Avenue in Lincoln, a quality company that cares. Contractors and homeowners get to Wolf Ace Hardware for all your paint, brushes, and anything else you need for your upcoming projects. For more information, call 402-466-7707. Pick up everything you need at Wolf Ace Hardware, where you're always appreciated as a friend and customer. Wishing you all a very healthy and prosperous 2026.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
It's another new year and another exciting edition of the Nebraska Lottery's popular Cash Blast promotion. You know how it works. Until March 24th, buy a 2x2 ticket and get a voucher. Enter online for a chance to win a $5,000 or $500 weekly prize. And if your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. So start out your 2026 with a bang. Enter the Cash Blast promotion today. 2x2 top prize odds are 1 in 105,000.
Planet Fitness has everything you need, anytime the motivation hits, so you can give everything you've got. With most clubs open 24 hours, you've got access to our best-in-class equipment to tackle early morning reps, late-night miles, and every workout in between. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends February 27th. You ready? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here. Join me live from Arlington, Texas, this Friday through Sunday as 93.7 The Ticket covers Husker baseball's appearance in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series. I'll have pregame and postgame videos on the Ticket's social media pages, as well as commentary throughout Friday's 3 p.m. game versus Louisville, Saturday's 7 p.m. game against Kansas State, and Sunday's 2:30 p.m. game against Florida State. Our coverage from Arlington is sponsored by Diode Technologies, Ben Bleicher of Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, and Chick-fil-A South Point Pavilions. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, where your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to One-on-One with DP. Sponsored by the Downtown Lincoln Foundation on 93.7 The Ticket.
We have one final segment here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is One-on-One. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Austin Orman. I will be sticking around for Bach in the black shirt. Coming up next, Estrell Farley will jump in studio for in just a few minutes. Austin, of course, you've got Old School coming up with Jay here in this afternoon. What are we looking forward to on Old School?
Oh, it's going to be a fantastic show. I know you are very surprised to hear that, but no, we're going to have some fun. There is that Matt Rule quote that I brought up about not asking coaches to coach a way or a scheme that they haven't done before going out the window. That seems like it explains a lot about Nebraska football recently. So we will absolutely talk about that. On 3, read Bill Moose's book and ranked teams that changed conferences from 2010 to 2020 in order of how happy they are with the move. And Nebraska came in at number 10.
Not
really
happy.
far down the list, very unhappy. So I think that's worth diving into. Obviously, some Nebraska men's basketball against Penn State. Probably a little bit of a Nebraska baseball, but plenty of spring ball, right? Still plenty more audio to dive into. Plenty more interesting stuff that was said. I know Jay wants to get to the offense today, right? We started with the defense yesterday. Shocker to anyone that hasn't listened to Old School. We started with the defense with the linebacker. So we'll dive into some Husker football offense at some point.
But of course, you also have your Duke shirt on today. Going to be a big weekend to take on Michigan. Can they dethrone the number 1 team?
Can they? Yes. Will they? That's a whole nother can of worms. Michigan likes to play pretty fast. They play at about 72 possessions per game. Duke has gotten better since they slowed it down, about 66 possessions per game. Duke doesn't shoot it great from 3. Michigan's front line will overwhelm even a Duke team that's gone more to your NBA size standard in a lot of ways. So Michigan's going to be favored. Let me see if I can pull up the numbers here real quick. Surprisingly close for a game in DC. Ken Pom has Michigan by 2. I would expect the Wolverines to win. I think they're a little deeper. They've been a little bit more consistent. But I still think Cam Boozer's probably the best player on the court. Whichever backcourt shows up, I think is going to be the difference. Duke, still has some questions there. And Michigan's guys, I feel, are due for a little bit of a come down. We'll see who takes it more personally, Elliot Cadeau, the North Carolina transfer, or the Duke guys that, still don't like the North Carolina transfer. So, no, I think it's a fantastic game. I mean, you have that one going on. You have Houston, Arizona going on as well right before Houston heads to Kansas. What a weekend of college hoops. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely feels like March is just around the corner, and it sure is. I don't know if you saw this, but maybe you can finish the sentence for me. 2 Georgia football players
were arrested for something to do with driving?
Charged with speeding. That's right. At next limits. Their linebackers, Chris Cole and Darren Ikenagabun, were arrested Wednesday night on misdemeanor charges of speeding.
Man.
It is ridiculous how often this has happened in Athens. What is going on?
Is this a scheduled tweet or is this breaking news?
This apparently is new. This is a new thing.
What the heck,
it is crazy how often this is happening, especially with the same team. It's just like, I can't wrap my head around it. And we do this this happens every time this happens. It's just like the same conversations of like how is this possible? And Georgia obviously continues to be a great team. Kirby Smart, one of the best college football coaches in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes are they just going to have to ban vehicles until you graduate? And graduate's a strong word. Georgia doesn't graduate a whole lot of players, but until your eligibility runs out.
Right. I mean, there's that option. There's get a sponsorship with Uber to keep your guys eligible.
A big
but
one.
Not like speeding is the only thing that can go wrong when you hop in an Uber, right? You got to make sure you're on your best behavior, even in an Uber, which I had actually a bunch of fantastic experiences with down in Phoenix. So
did you?
Shout out to, I'm not really a social guy. So most of them are just, sit there, drive. I'm trying to do social media stuff on my phone, but did talk to a couple interesting people driving. They were on time. They were prompt. They picked me up. They dropped me off.
5-star reviews. Did you leave them?
I didn't leave the reviews. I did leave the tips though. Right? Trying to be a nice person in the service industry. So yeah, Uber would have its own issues, but I think if you're Kirby Smart at this point, I am pushing my athletic director, my marketing people, get us a deal. Basketball team seems to be fine. Baseball team seems to be fine. All these other programs seem to have it under control. So you would think that, just having to do the football team, I know that's a lot of bodies. You got to have a lot of people available in the greater Athens area, but do the Uber XLs, right? Carpool to class. You live on force them to live on campus, and so that'll cut down on the bill a little bit.
I just can't imagine speeding if I'm a Georgia I would be the most defensive driver. Make sure I'm not, no California stuff. So I would just make sure I'm not the next Georgia guy in the headlines for speeding. But apparently, I think that's, I don't know, part of initiation or something down there.
The Georgia football fraternity get a 25 over or more speeding ticket. You're in. You made it.
Very strange. That same headline pops up all the time. All right, that'll wrap it up for One-on-One today. Bach the Black Shirt coming up next. As you heard, Austin will be waiting in the wings with Jay Foreman for Old School starting at 3. We'll continue to update you on Nebraska softball as they're going on, and have a whole lot of entertaining responses and reactions to the clips from yesterday's press conference with Terrell Farley coming up next here on Bach the Black Shirt.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies, the light breeze, and afternoon high around 30. Tonight, a slight chance of snow.